William Blake, 1757 to 1827, is one of the most famous English artists of the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Gifted with many talents, he was a poet, drawer, painter, and engraver. He was also deeply interested in mysticism, religion, and the Bible. Both an artist and a craftsman, he did everything himself. He owned his own presses, edited his own books, and printed his own engravings. World-renowned, he has influenced generations of writers, painters, filmmakers, musicians, choreographers, and opera makers. We only have a few of his works in France, some of which are shrouded in an aura of mystery, as their esotericism can be difficult to grasp. Blake's enduring mystical pursuit was fueled by his keen interest in pagan legends and the history of the Bible. Although Blake was also a poet and painter, he made a living as an engraver. His primary focus was engraving, which also constituted his main training. In 1784, he opened a modest engraving publishing house with the money left from his father's inheritance.
John Gay wrote the three-act comedy opera, The Beggar's Opera, in 1728. It was believed to be a response to the opera in Italy. Such a composition was highly popular in 18th century England, and The Beggar's Opera was met with instant success. In response to the opera's significant success at its premiere in 1728, painter and engraver William Hogarth, 1697 to 1764, began working on a collection of oil paintings on canvas. A few decades later, around 1788, William Blake used one of Hogarth's paintings of a scene from Act 3 as the basis for his own engraving, which formed part of his considerably more intricate and comprehensive piece. It shows a particular scene in which all the actors are gathered, along with the English nobility who have the privilege of attending the performance from behind tables positioned on each sides of the stage.
William Blake is still regarded as a modern artist in terms of popularity. Along with all the intricate architectural details that are visible in this work, his influences link him to some of the greatest names in art history, such as Michelangelo, Raphael, and Leonardo da Vinci, from whom he drew inspiration. Along with biblical sources, William Blake also makes references to Shakespeare, Milton, and Dante. The Unrepentant, a group of artists, writers, and engravers, created a work based on William Blake, titled The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. And just like him, they shared Blake's fundamental idea that image and text should not be separated. Nowadays, a quick search through search engines show that Blake ranks among some of the most viewed artists in the world, not to mention the abundance of books available in practically every languages. It is important to grasp the very specific general context in which Blake's work, Beggar's Opera or L'Opéra des Gueux in French, is set, to understand the perspective's projections. The film will include comparative analyses of the perspectives in Blake's work and William Hogarth's painting, which Blake adapted for this piece. This presentation foreshadows later ones, as well as introducing all the components that make up Blake's work: the box frame, the engraving, the manuscript, and the key.
Before we continue, it is important to note that Blake's works, whether they be paintings, sculptures, or architecture, all incorporate sacred geometry. Perfection is symbolized by the golden ratio, which is the secret of harmony and beauty. Blake regularly makes use of the proportion between the forms and surfaces' lengths. Thus, works of art like the Parthenon, the Milan Cathedral, and the Pyramid of Cheops exhibit the golden ratio and its heavenly proportions. The golden ratio is a symbol of peace among Pythagoras' followers. It also influenced Gothic church layouts and the architecture of Greek and Egyptian temples. Additionally, he lends a very particular resonance to artworks influenced by the Gothic and Renaissance periods, as well as from the Mediterranean cycle, which includes Egypt, Greece, and Byzantium. Through a fresh perspective, studying sacred geometry allows us to go back to our roots, organize our inner selves, and guide our minds to discover or rediscover our existence. But it also helps us comprehend the process that results in the creation of an artwork, in this case William Blake's intricate work. Sacred geometry, or divine harmony, combines symbolism, art, science, codes, and keys to ingenious combinations. Sacred geometry is frequently used to refer to a set of behaviors and doctrines associated with a secret elite teaching, originally reserved for a select few, but often accessible through a secret initiation. To understand Blake's study, it is crucial to understand that the various perspective representation strategies all work toward the same goal. It consists of recreating three-dimensional objects on a flat surface, based on an observer's view of the scene, considering the effects of distance and their positioning in real space. In order to respect the faces of volumes that are in oblique rather than frontal perspective, Blake decided to use a two-point perspective. The portrayal of the surrounding environment that most closely resembles photography is conical perspective, albeit oblique in this case. During the Quattrocento, or First Renaissance in Italy in the 15th century, the principles of perspective were discovered. It cleared the path for the rebirth of the arts. Its name comes from the cone-like shape formed by the straight lines joining the observer's eye to an object. Central perspective projection or linear perspective both refer to one method. Blake began by incorporating perspective while maintaining the image's size, using Hogarth's perspective-deficient painting as a starting point. Blake's work differs greatly from Hogarth's due to his artistic drawing and line modifications.
The purpose of this presentation is to demonstrate that Blake's meticulous calculations in carrying out his work revealed the mind of a genius. This presentation is but one aspect of Blake's body of work, and we hope that this approach to his work has piqued your interest and motivated you to learn more about this complex artist.